Welcome to East Windsor Electrical and Technical Institute. I'm Mr. Nowak and Mr. Morozov's behind the camera, and we're here to go over our solar photovoltaic trainer. This is the solar charge controller, which we talked about yesterday's class, and we're going to talk about it today. In here, we have our connections. So first off, this wire that you have down here on the side, this is the Ethernet cable going back to the control panel that I had mentioned in another video. And then over here we have red, white, white, red. Those are the connections from the battery and to the solar photos, all right? The batteries are located on the left-hand side here, and the PV is located to the right-hand side. And that right-hand side connection to the PV is the modules that are bringing the power in. And this left-hand side to the battery is how it's charging the battery up. And this is a very important connection to make, because if you make this wrong, the charge controller won't work. They have the two grounded conductors next to each other. Remember, white is grounded. The negative terminals on DC circuits are the grounded terminals. So these two are next to each other, just like you would have ground next to neutral in any kind of situation. The actual ground wire is all the way back here in the back. You can barely see it back here. It's all the way back here at the end of my finger, that little green thing back there. That's where the ground is connected. And you need to bring a ground to every piece of metal that's connected to anything electrical. You should remember to Article 250 on grounding and bonding. All of it needs to be connected. These are the grounded terminals. That's the grounding wire. And these two red wires are the positives. These two positive wires, one of them coming through from the solar modules, is going to go through a breaker on its way here, which we'll talk about when we look at the distribution center. And the other red wire heading to the battery will also go through a breaker before it heads to the battery. We will show that also when we talk about the distribution center. On the button on the display here, we have the ability to interact with the charge controller, just like we can when we use the control panel. So we have the enter button and the arrows up and down and exit, the same buttons that we have on the control panel. And we have a smaller screen, obviously, so the smaller screen will make it a little bit harder. But you can easily scroll through up and down, see the readouts, and it will tell you how much power the solar is bringing to the charge controller, how much power it's putting to the batteries, how much power is on the batteries, and a few other fault conditions that can show up. Like if I were to turn on right now, it would give me a fault error because the batteries are low and there's no power going to them.